Hi, this is Stephanie Jahn with iCaucus from San Diego, and I am here with senatorial candidate Joe Miller. Joe, it's a pleasure to be with you. What does it mean to you to have the iCaucus vetting?
Well, it means that I'm a candidate that's not been bought by anybody. I think that's probably the base of it. We're working for the United States of America. We're for making sure that we have in Alaska the freedom to develop our resource base, to move ahead without the heavy hand of the federal government upon us. And we're doing that for the people's interest, not for any other type of specialized interest out there, but to move the state forward so that our people in our state have jobs, they have opportunity, and that's what we're in it for.
Okay, thank you. And with the citizens base, how important is it to you in your race to have the citizens organizations like iCaucus and the other grassroots organizations supporting your candidacy?
That's really what's made our candidacy move forward. I mean, when we won in the primary, which nobody thought we could do, the reason why is because of that volunteer base. You know, the wonderful people that came in that hadn't been involved in politics before, weren't affiliated with any type of interest, but just loved their country and were very concerned about its direction. So having these grassroots endorsements like this is critically important to move the campaign forward, especially in this general election now that we have millions of dollars coming into the state of Alaska to ensure that I don't win in the general election. So it's very important.
Okay, wonderful. And when you do win the senatorial nomination and you're back in Washington, D.C., what is the first priority you have as the senator of Alaska?
Well, we've got to make sure that this fiscal situation is squared away. There's no question about it. If we continue down this road of what I call fiscal insanity, we're going to end up with a sovereign debt crisis in this country that's going to create disruption everywhere. So we've got to get a grip on that. It's out of control. In part, one of the reasons why it's out of control is because of all these special interests that are weighing in on government saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. But the one thing that we know that you got to do, you got to reverse the growth of government. Not just slow it, we got to reverse it. That's going to take some real strong, hard work. It's going to require men and women a backbone and conviction, and that's what we're going to try to do once we get there.
Great. And my final question to you is, iCaucus, with 43 candidates that are running federally, we are going to plan to be in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration and welcome our candidates that make it in. We would like to know if you'll commit to participating in our iCaucus caucus, where we gather around all of our iCaucus representatives and talk about how we keep the citizens involved in the federal government.
I will absolutely caucus with the other iCaucus members to make sure that the people's interests are advanced. We can no longer be a nation that sits back and allows its representatives to be controlled by specialized interests that really don't have, I think, the health of the nation in mind. So I look forward to working with the other iCaucus endorsed candidates to make sure that we can make the changes that need to be made in this country.
Great. We'll look forward to meeting with you in Washington, D.C. Now, finally, I'd like to give you an opportunity to tell the citizens of Alaska and the nation what exactly it is that you want them to know about Joe Miller.
Well, what I want you to know about Joe Miller is that I'm working for you and that I'm like you. I'm one of you. I mean, this is a point at our nation where we've got a lot of people that are going out there right now, putting their hat in the ring for public office that really have not been engaged, aren't part of the establishment, but they're engaged because they're concerned about your future. They're engaged because they're concerned about their children's future. That's why my wife gave me permission to run back in April. Not such a long time ago, but she was concerned about whether or not this country would leave opportunity to our children. We've got 8 of them, and we know that they want to have that American dream, but we know that the way that the direction of the country is headed, that the likelihood of that, unless we get change now, is not going to be there. And so we're looking very much forward to working for you, nobody else, and making sure that this country gets back on track.